The Defense Department has 2,100 deficiencies from its financial management statements. The department spent about $2.8 billion on financial management systems, but it doesn't track that spending. Asif Khan's director of the Financial Management and Assurance Team at the Government Accountability Office. Asif, welcome back. It's good to see you again. Is there a connection between those two numbers, between the 2,100 deficiencies and the amount spent on the financial management systems?
Thank you, Francis. Great to be on the show. There isn't a connection between the two numbers. The 2,100 issues, they were identified as a result of the audit. The $2.8 billion, that is spending which has gone on for a number of years in maintaining and upgrading the financial management systems. The DoD did not have upgrading their financial systems as part of their audit strategy. So therefore, there's no connection between the two numbers you've just mentioned.
What's the trend line look like for those NFRs? Are we headed in a good direction as a result of the audit process, or are we treading water, getting worse? What does that look like, Asif?
The audits, according to the DoD themselves and the auditors, and our view as is providing value to the Department of Defense. The 2,100 findings that you've mentioned, that's only on the military departments. Overall, there are a number of other findings. The department has remediated about 25% of those findings, and that is quite an accomplishment.
What's leading to that accomplishment? What are they doing well that maybe more of would help accelerate the process?
They have understood their business process better than they did before. As a result, they can then fix the internal control weaknesses. The systems weaknesses or the IT weaknesses are a bit more on a longer trend, because obviously the IT weaknesses take a little bit more digging into before they can implement any change.
Is this a situation where the department understands what those IT weaknesses are and is in the process of remediating them, or are these so complicated, so complex, or maybe so far out in the future as far as the strategy goes that they haven't gotten that far yet?
It's going to take time. The department has different approaches over the years, but it's critical that the department look at the auditor findings and get down to the key issues or the root cause, which is causing them this problem. This is important not only in the IT issues, but also in the financial reporting issues as well. But it's critical in the IT issues that they have a broader look at what the deficiencies are in the systems, because not all the IT systems related to financial management would be part of the audit scope. So they can identify the weaknesses in one system, and the DoD management has to look at to see what other systems may be impacted by similar type of situations.
One of the recommendations that you and your colleagues make in this work is interesting to me, and it's the last one on the list: limiting investments in financial management systems to what's essential to maintain functional systems and to help ensure system security until DoD implements the other recommendations. That strikes me as maybe the most important one, because it's kind of the old idea of pouring good money after bad, isn't it?
Right, very much so. We made 6 recommendations. Perhaps I can link them to them. It's critical for DoD to be able to develop milestones and plans which links the systems remediation to their overall financial management strategy. The overall financial management system strategy is very robust. It says that the financial management should be systems-based, standards reliant, and also it should be affordable. So it's critical for that strategy to link with the amount of investments they're making. There are a few gaps. DoD does not have a roadmap as to how they will be able to achieve their overall system strategy. So one of our recommendations is they develop milestones and targets to be able to achieve the overall visions. So in that respect, it's very important for them to control their investments, so they're not spending money on systems which is not going to provide value. Otherwise, they will end up making short-term fixes, which will be very inefficient and costly in the long term.
I read between the lines of your work here in some of these recommendations that idea of a roadmap, because a couple of the recommendations pertain to establishing those milestones that you referenced a moment ago and setting up performance measures so that you know what you're getting basically as a department. Did I read that right?
Absolutely, you did. And those recommendations are not new. We had made similar type of recommendations, albeit at a higher level going back 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Though DoD has come a long way in terms of developing an enterprise architecture, but it doesn't have sufficient detail which go down to the specific department's financial management systems in terms of a transition plan and how that transition plan links to the roadmap and how that links to the overall financial management system strategy. So it's very critical they link all these.
We have about a minute left, and that's where I wanted to finish up. You and I, of course, have been talking about these issues for a long time. I recognize the terminology in some of these recommendations from the conversations we've had historically, and that's where I wanted to leave it. Is the department making progress, and are we getting to more and more granular aspects of the improvements they need to make, or are these still pretty broad-reaching improvements that we were talking about some time ago?
The department has made substantial progress over the last few years as a result of these audits. They've gotten more granular information, and the department is meeting its goal of using these audits to improve their business processes. The 25%, it's a number out there, but it's quite an impressive number, because the other thing to keep in mind that the findings are going to increase as the audit go. But again, it's a very good number to start off with, and it's encouraging to see that the department is heading in the right direction. The key is going to be that they stay on track, they keep their focus, the tone of the top continues to be encouraging and supportive of these audits.
Asif Khan of the Government Accountability Office, great to see you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francis.